I found a really insidious example of both manipulation and coercion in dating. I am going to show you this video and then we're going to talk on the other side.
Matched with this guy on Hinge, set up a date. We're free Friday, and he suggested the spot. I told him, oh my god, my friends work there, and he was like, oh my god, cool. So he wasn't bothered by it. He knew. I was like, oh, like, let's do early afternoon. He responds, okay, so how about 6? I'm back saying, sorry, like, I said early afternoon. He was like, oh, my bad. I read that wrong. When can you do? I said, how about 4? He goes, can we do 5 actually? I said, okay, let's do 5. I get there at 5 on the dot. I sit down and he texts me, oh, there's traffic. ETA 5:20. I was chatting to my friend who was working there, so it was fine. He texts me at 5:20 saying ETA is pushed back to 5:40. So I tell my friend that, and then all the coworkers are like, oh my god, that's so late. Your initial meeting time was 5 o'clock and he's showing up at 5:40. 5:40 comes around. I'm on the phone with 2 of my friends. I'm not just gonna sit there doing nothing. At 5:40, he texts me, pulling up. And then he shows up 15 minutes later. He did apologize. Said, I'm so sorry, like, there was traffic because of the fire. We talked for like 3 hours. He was really nice. He's studying computer science. I just don't know if I can look past the being an hour late. So I don't know how I feel about that. He did say he wanted to see me again and to expect a date itinerary, which I like, but I don't know about the an hour late thing. I don't know, guys.
This is no shade at all to the creator who made the video. I really don't think that this is about her. I think that this is about the guy she went on the date with. Why was this manipulation and coercion? Because he ended up convincing her to do something that she did not want to do. She told him, I cannot meet at 6 p.m. I can do 4. What time did they end up meeting? 6 p.m. My assumption would be that he never had any plan of meeting her at 5. He was only available to meet with her at 6, which is why that's the time that he suggested. Then when she said, no, I can do 4, he said, okay, well, I can just vamp for an hour and she'll be none the wiser. He coerced her into meeting at 6 p.m., which is something she said she could not do, would not do, and did not have any interest in doing. 1 p.m., 2 p.m. are early afternoon. 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., late afternoon, 6 p.m. evening, okay? He ended up having the date that he wanted to have at 6 p.m. The reason that this type of manipulation is so insidious is because the creator herself still does not realize that she was manipulated, because he's a nice guy. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna say, well, this isn't coercion, this isn't manipulation, because it doesn't have to do with sex. Guys, manipulation and coercion do not always have to do with sex. It is possible to manipulate someone, it is possible to coerce someone into doing something that is not sex. We don't have to litigate hypothetical sexual assault cases. We can just talk about what the information is that we actually have. She told him what she could do. He suggested a compromise. She agreed to that compromise in good faith. He knew that she would, because we are socialized to be polite. It was actually an interesting gamble that he chose to do this, knowing that her friends work at this place. Even if the creator herself was fine with him being an hour late, surely he knows that it's going to reflect poorly on him to her friends, because she is going to be sitting there for an hour. They are going to be asking her, where is this dude? That to me seems like a big gamble. My guess would be the only reason she stayed is because her friends work there. But to me, it clearly seems like a case of this guy hedging his bets and keeping this woman on the hook because he wanted what he wanted, even though she said no. And I think that's really dangerous. I assume she's young. She and he hopefully are in their early mid-20s. My unsolicited advice to that creator would be run for the hills, because that man has already proven that he doesn't respect you, because he doesn't respect your time. Anyone who's going to let you sit there for an hour is not someone who is going to have your best interest at heart. Yes, being an hour late is a red flag, but it's not just that he was late. If he had said, I'm gonna have to push to 6, no worries if we need to rain check, and he's giving her the opportunity to decide, that's something different entirely. Someone who takes away your agency and who takes away your power and who makes decisions on your behalf is going to continue to do that. A lot of times people like that end up being cheaters, because they're like, well, she wouldn't stay with me if she knew that I'm hooking up with other people, and I want her to stay with me. So I'm just not going to tell her that I'm hooking up with other people. This is a person who would take you on a hike and leave you at the top of the mountain. That is the type of mindset that these people have. It's important to understand that yes, being an hour late to the first date bad impression. But it's not just that. It's what it says about how much or how little he respects the person he's going on the date with. If this person on date 1 can't even pretend to respect you or your time, you should not give them any more. These are the tiny little things to me that I think so easy to overlook because, oh, he's such a nice guy. When someone has clearly disrespected you and you don't respond by removing yourself from that situation, they are going to believe that they're going to be able to continue disrespecting you.